Hey guys, Sam here, and yeah, that's right. College has become so busy that I've just relegated myself to this. Just take what you can get, I guess. Anyway, today I figured I would just take a look at a random episode just for the hell of it. So, what should I look at? Wet Doom? Okay, what show is this from? The Adventures of Kid Danger? The animated spin off of the superhero live action sitcom Henry Danger? Okay, that's kinda interesting. I'll take a look. Oh my fucking god. Okay, for some of you that don't know, Henry Danger was a sitcom that came out in the mid-2010s. It starred a boy named Henry Hart, who inexplicably becomes a sidekick to a superhero named Captain Man. And then he becomes Kid Danger. And so, during the show, they face off against bad guys, they deal with a whole lot of other stuff, trying to keep their secret identities, blah blah blah, generic superhero stuff. As a show, it was okay. It wasn't good, it wasn't bad, it was just kind of average. There were some good things about it. I mean, some of the choreography and stunts were kind of impressive. There were a few jokes that worked. Some of the characters had some charm. And hell, out of all the superheroes I've ever seen in media, I don't think I've ever seen one that turns into a costume superhero by chewing bubblegum. That's kind of creative. But yeah, it also had its flaws. The stories were pretty generic, it wasn't exactly the most interesting show, there were a few characters that were kind of annoying, and the laugh track could get really, really obnoxious. But when you really look at it, it's not really a bad show. Now, the animated spin-off, on the other hand, oh, that's an entirely different story. So, how bad is that one? Well, the show only had about 12 episodes. It only lasted for one season. And yeah, I think that pretty much tells you how bad this show was. And it also was Dan Schneider's very first animated show. Yeah, it did not go over so well. Audiences didn't like it, a lot of online critics didn't like it, hell, even Common Sense Media of all people couldn't even defend it. So, how bad is this episode? Wet Doom? Oh, you're in for a ride, guys. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, now, before I get into it, you already know the drill by now. Summary first, thoughts after. Okay, let's get started. So the episode revolves around Henry Hart, Captain Man, Charlotte, Jasper, and Swaz, the inventor, all in this one big public Italian restaurant thingy or whatever. Anyway, they're all in the bathroom, and Charlotte apparently is using the male urinal in a gender-neutral bathroom. Okay, the gender-neutral bathroom thing I don't really have a problem with, but why is she using the male urinal? Wouldn't you use a stall? Okay, I'm not gonna get myself into this. Then we see Swaz come out of the stall with some mozzarella cheese. No, I'm not gonna think about that either. And then Jasper comes in, picks up Swaz, and then throws him down on the bathroom floor, saying that he's participating in some stupid social media challenge. Okay, I would argue that that joke is really stupid, but on the other hand, there are other social media challenges that are even worse than that, so yeah, that wasn't bad commentary. So yeah, it wasn't the worst joke ever. But trust me, that's the highlight of the comedy in this episode. Anyway, they all want to go back out and eat their food, and for some reason this thing starts to overflow. So Henry decides to go talk to somebody, but apparently the bathroom door's locked. So they try to get it open by forcing the knob open with a fire extinguisher. But then, just as the sink starts to overflow, water comes out of the doorknob? How is that even possible? I mean, I guess I can understand if this restaurant took place in, I don't know, Atlantis, but we saw in the first shot of this episode that it's a regular restaurant in the human world, so this makes no sense. So now they're trapped in a bathroom that's about to overflow, and they're all gonna probably drown, and everyone other than Charlotte is freaking out. Well, at least, you know, they sound like they're freaking out, but they look like that it doesn't really faze them that much. Yeah, first problem right off the bat, the animation, especially its expressions, are just awful, but I'll talk about it later. Anyway, they all fear that they're all gonna die in here, so the rest of the episode, or at least the most of it, is just them reminiscing on their past adventures. No, I'm really not kidding, that's mostly what the story is, just them reminiscing about their past misadventures. There was one time where they started a band, and they sucked at it, and apparently they were so bad that a monster came in and ruined the club they were performing at. Okay, Then there was another flashback where they're at an amusement park ride and things are going well, but they accidentally take a wrong turn, which begs the question, why would an amusement park make a ride like this? And they happen to crush somebody in a mouse costume. But hold on, here's a twist. It's actually not somebody in a mouse costume. It's actually an anthropomorphic mouse. And he's got a wife. And apparently Captain Man thinks that this is the perfect time to hit on the wife, while the husband is in critical condition in the hospital. Okay, I've got a few questions about this. One, why are there anthropomorphic mice in this world? I mean, yeah, I know it's a superhero show, there are monsters to defeat and stuff like that, but it was mostly grounded in reality. So why are there walking, talking mice around? And why did Captain Man just suddenly think that this was a good time to start flirting with the wife? Just why? Why? Anyway, we get another flashback to when Captain Man and Henry Danger were driving in some race called the Tampa 500, which I guess is their own version of the Daytona 500. And it looks like things are going well, it looks like they're actually going to win the race, but after we find out that Swaz forgot to bolt down one of the tires, they lose that tire and it ends up into the crowd. And you'll never guess who it hits. Yep, that's right, that anthropomorphic mouse! Yeah, that's right, he's had a cast, he's in, really bad shape, but he's back out, he's living, and he's saying hi to everyone, I'm doing okay. But then the tire comes in, and it goes BAM! And then he falls out, kind of like Flanders' wife style, but instead of dying like Flanders' wife, he ends up in a swamp? Right by a racetrack? And then he meets an alligator, or, yeah, it's a gator, and then he gets his foot bitten, and he curses Florida being this really stupid peninsula. Yeah, not the worst joke, but definitely the weirdest one. And then finally we get one more flashback where all of them were doing zip lining, and Swaz, out of nowhere, gets taken away by an eagle. And then he ends up in a nest where it has a whole bunch of other celebrities that are balding people like him. And yeah, these are actually recognizable celebrities. Jason Alexander, Danny DeVito, and also Larry David. And by the way, the impressions of all these celebrities, they're pretty fucking terrible.
It's, pretty bad.
Yeah, that impression was pretty shit. So yeah, after all of this, you're probably wondering, wait, are they gonna find some way to get out of that bathroom? Well, they try a couple of times, but again, they keep on getting distracted by these reminiscing moments. There's also one moment where they think that Swaz may have drowned, but it turns out he's up on the chandelier, and he almost gave them all a heart attack because he wanted to see if all of them cared about him. Okay, he's a wacko. And this was also the guy that said that he imagined himself dying in a public restroom, but not like this.
I always knew I'd die in a public restroom, but not like this!
Why would he imagine something like that? What, did he imagine himself dying on the toilet or something? What? And there even is a moment where Jasper says that if they don't make it out of this, he gave them all permission to eat him, and they all say, no, we're not going to do that. But then Swaz is like, oh, really? I'm willing to. Swaz, you're a wacko. You're a jerk and a wacko. But anyway, after all the reminiscing, they finally decide, hey, maybe we should probably get out of here. So Henry goes under the water, goes to one of the toilets, flushes it, and that pretty much takes care of the problem. Yeah, despite the water overflowing from the sink, coming out of the doorknob, and at one point even coming out of the ceiling, and even though they did not find any ways to plug them up, once he flushed the toilet, all the water's gone. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I just getting so distracted by the plot holes, it's really hard to continue the summary. Anyway, they do get out of there alive, but unfortunately Swaz gets stuck in the toilet. So they actually had to literally pick up the toilet and carry him all the way back to the table that they're eating at. And the episode ends with some kid for some reason flushing the toilet and Swaz goes down it. Even though there's nothing connecting that toilet to anywhere else, it's literally on the restaurant floor. And what do the others say? Let's just take his meatballs. And they don't even bother trying to help Swaz, even when he gets his hand out from the toilet and expecting someone to take him out of there. The end.
What the hell was that?
Yeah, I'm with Krusty here. What the fuck was that? First off, let's just get this problem right out of the way. The animation is terrible. Not only is it generic, bland, and stiff, but when it tries to be over the top and expressive, it's just bad. The scene where everyone aside from Charlotte is freaking out is just really a big example of why the animation just sucks. It's just again, stiff, bland, and unexpressive. Unexpressive should not be an adjective to describe a show that's animated. Hell, I remember the characters being much more animated and expressive in the live-action sitcom. If the live-action sitcom is more animated than the actual animated version of it, you know you done screwed up. Oh, and there's also a bunch of other problems. The voice acting, not that great. The storytelling, it's a joke. It's lazy. It's mostly just reminiscing moments, just talking about all their misadventures when they really should be finding ways to get out of there. I mean, it kind of reminds me of that SpongeBob special, Truth or Square, in some way. Like, there was parts of the episode where they're all stuck in the air ducts, and they're all telling each other about their misadventures and stuff like that. But hey, at least to SpongeBob's credit, some of the jokes that worked there were actually kind of funny, and the animation was a million times better. In Wet Doom, the jokes are not even funny at all. They're confusing at best and just bad at worst. I can't even imagine what the thought process were for some of these jokes. I could just imagine some writers sitting back and going, you know, why do we have an anthropomorphic mouse, like, just for no reason, living in the world, and we have him not only get crushed by an amusement park ride, but he goes through a racetrack and he gets beaten by a tire. He ends up he falls out of the stands, and he ends up in a swamp that's apparently right next to the racetrack, and then he gets bitten by an alligator. What do you think of that? Well, to some other writer that's high, I'm sure they probably would find that hilarious, but to the rest of us that are actually sane, we just find that to be absolutely bonkers, and not the good kind of bonkers. So yeah, the jokes sucked, the animation sucked, the story, what a laugh. It's not even a story at all. And it's just, and also the plot holes and some of the weirder moments that stuck out to me, it just did not help it at all. Bottom line, it's just an episode that absolutely bombs. Not the good kind of bomb, just a really bad bomb. It sucks. I mean, I guess the only good thing about this episode is, if you're looking for one of those so bad it's good episodes, then I guess it's got you covered there, but I don't know if it'll do that entirely, because I'm sure that, like me, you'll probably be looking at some of the stuff that happens in this episode, and you'll be saying things like, what the fuck? And what is this show? So, yeah, I'm sorry. In conclusion, Wet Doom is terrible. Final score, 2 out of 10. Just, unless you're seeing it and it's so bad it's good, like, avoid this one. I just can't recommend it. So there you go, guys. That's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this review, and if you did, give it a like, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, my name is Sam. Mwah. Good night, everybody. And I hope to God I never see this show again. Well, wait, hold on. Actually, I shouldn't be too pessimistic about it. I mean, after all, it's just one episode. I mean, it can't all be bad, right?